Hey, good morning, good afternoon, everyone, for joining today's session on creating zone resilient Azure virtual machine skill set. Today we have Gulnaz Mushtaq, who will be our speaker, who will be explaining all the things that is related to today's session. And if you talk about her, she is a Microsoft certified trainer and also the Microsoft NCT regional lead for the Pakistan, and she'll be helping us better understand about the creating drone in the Microsoft virtual machines. Okay, and before we go into the session, I wanted to share a few things about today's session, that there is going to be a recording which will be available in our YouTube channel. Even if you missed out in the between the session or you want to go over it again, it will be available in our YouTube channel. Secondly, there is certificate of participation where you can get a certificate of participation, which I'll share a form at the end of session where you can fill out, and basically it's automated and it will directly go to the email which you have filled with the certificate of participation for today's session. And I hope it's clear. And with that, I am done here and moving the mic to Gulnaz to get started with session. Over to you.
Thank you very much for the wonderful session today, and I appreciate your efforts. Okay, let me start the session. And I very warm welcome everyone who joined today's session. I am really excited, really excited because of seeing a lot of participation from you guys. So, guys, let's start the session. As you can see on the screen, it's all about creating zone resilient Azure virtual machines skill set. And my name is Gulnaz Mushtaq. Okay, so today's agenda is that we are going to discuss about what is VMSS, and then the talking about the benefits, and then we'll be talking about the configuration, how to configure the machines. We'll be having a proper demonstration. Why? Because I usually I am more concerned about the practical aspects, and usually I try my level best that I should be demonstrating something to my audience instead of going through a lot of theoretical aspects. So I'll be sharing the link with you guys as well. There is a complete VMSS links on the Microsoft Learning website, and you guys can have detailed knowledge on VMSS as well. Also, we'll be talking about the extensions. What is the VMSS extensions? How can we perform vertical scaling, and also how we can do the horizontal scaling of VMSS. And at the end of the session, we'll be moving towards the question and answer session. Okay, guys, so let's have introduction. As you know that my name is Gulnaz Mushtaq, and I am certified trainer since 2018, and now also I am serving as MCT regional lead for the MCT community, not only in my region, Pakistan, but I would appreciate when MCTs they approach me for any knowledge, for any problems, for any queries, whether those are technical or whether they are something related to some program, MCT program. Also, Microsoft awarded me with the Enrique Lima Award in the year 2022, which is a kind of eighth award around the world. And Microsoft awards this award to the people who serve the community um, without having any getting any monetary benefits from the Microsoft, because it's all about the volunteer work. The MCT regional lead is a volunteer position, and I would expect all of you guys who are participating in this session, that you should go above and beyond to work for the community as well, because it is very much important that we should share our knowledge with people as well. And it's, you know, that when you do good with people, you get something better from the universe. Also, I have diversified experience in the field of information technology, and I have worked with both public and private sectors. And as far as technology is concerned, I have worked with so many technologies like Microsoft Hybrid Administration, Azure Administration, Server Administration, Microsoft 365 tools, and things like that. Also, I took part in activating the free Power BI tool in Microsoft MCT program benefits. As you know that maybe some of you know that the MCTs get benefits tools from the Microsoft free of cost just to prepare their classes well. And there was a missing tool over there, which was Power BI tool. So I felt that this should be there as well. So I requested personally on Microsoft forums to Microsoft to get these tools free of cost for the MCT community as well. Okay, so this is my MCT badge. So this is my regional lead shield from Microsoft, and this is the Enrique Lima Award which I received last year. And if you guys want to approach me on the LinkedIn, so you guys can join me. My profile is very simple. Just have to type my name, Gulnaz Mushtaq, and you will get this profile having a background as MCT Community Pakistan Learning Room. So we will be also talking about the MCT Community Pakistan Learning Room. It's basically a learning room on Microsoft Teams where everyone can join. It's not for only for MCTs, it's just name. Why? Because there are MCTs who will help you out for any queries regarding the Azure, whether you are having any queries for the Microsoft 365, or if you are getting you are not getting some knowledge about the latest certification, free trainings or something like that, you will be getting that from here as well. And also, Microsoft announces some events. Those are annual in events like Microsoft Build. Also, these days, Microsoft is going to be prepared for the Microsoft Ignite as well. So you will be also getting the updates regarding the latest events as well. Okay, let's talk about what is virtual machine scale set, which is called in short VMSS. So, as you guys maybe know about the VMs as well, because you know that VMs are the part of infrastructure as services as far as any cloud platforms are concerned. So, but that is a kind of thing that you have to manage the individual purpose. Like if you are want to have something which is going to have some individuality, or maybe that has to perform something as a lone, just a single VM. So in that case, you just configure a normal VM, right? So if you want to have something to deploy, that should be the concern about the high availability. Why? Because a few applications that you don't have to lose their availability, you are not you cannot afford the some crash in the application, or you cannot afford that people they are going to access the application, but application is not responding. So in that case, how will you automatically apply the high availability tools? In that case, instead of relying on one single uh, VM, you have to configure multiple VMs. And what virtual machine scale sets do, they not only providing you VMs, they are multiple in nature, but also they will be providing you the capabilities to manage those VMs easily. So you can say that they will lessen the hassle of the administrator. An administrator can easily manage those machines, whether they are going to scaling out the machines, scaling out concerned about maybe that is concerned about the vertical scaling or maybe the horizontal scaling. So in the both cases, administrator job is getting more easier, right? So it is more likely to be the number of machines who are always available, and also the machines those are prone to having some high availability. They will manage get will be managed very easily by you guys if you are going to deploy the VMSS. Okay, so how will you deploy the VMSS high availability? Basically, as you know that these machine will be having something to be deployed on them. like some for example, there might be having to deploy some web application, and you are not going to afford that web application to be down, having facing some downtime. So in that case, how will the load be uh, like how will you distribute the load from one machine to another? So in that case, you have to deploy some load balancers. So it means that Azure Virtual Machine scale sets you will create, that those will be managed by some load balancers. So load balancer will help you out to manage the loads. If one machine is not going to respond, no problem. There are other machines, they will respond automatically. So it means that system will be taking responsibility of those machines. You will be having just to deploy the number of machines. In that case, you will just mention the number, how many VMs you need in virtual machine skill sets. So the system will automatically deploy you those VMs for you, right? So it means that this scenario is going to be automatic in most of the cases, and in some of the cases, you will be keeping a few things just in on the form of manual administration. So we'll be having both models. These are called a few uniform and flexible model, and we'll be talking about the uniform and flexible models as well during the configuration. How will we, which model we are going to adopt, and which model is going to facilitate us. As you can see in the diagram that there is a public IP associated to the Azure load balancer. It means that the load balancer is the front end that is facing the public response, or you can say the people who are accessing something that is deployed on the virtual machines. So they first directly communicate with the load balancer, and load balancer will check out the health of those VMs, and also which VM is going to respond instantly. So load balancer will decide that machine is a kind of healthiest and efficient machine, and it will give the response accordingly. As we are talking about the horizontal and vertical scaling, as you guys know that vertical scaling means that you are going to increase the power of VMs. Power means the resources. For example, if you want to increase the CPU, memory, and type of machines, so in that case, you are going to scale, and which is called a vertical scaling. So in case of VMSSS, there are both kind of scalings are available, whether it is a vertical scaling and whether it is a horizontal scaling. In case of horizontal scaling, if your workload increases, it means that your machines will increase accordingly. And if your workload decreases, so there should be a mechanism that your machines will automatically gets decreased to a certain point of numbers, right? So in both cases, the VMSS gives you all the capabilities. Okay, what are the key benefits? As we discussed that it is easy to create, easy to manage the multiple VMs, because maybe you are going to configure about 200 VMs and you want to manage them instantly, and you want to, whatever the updates you are going to apply on them, you want to apply all of them simultaneously. So in that case, it's very much easy thing that you have to create VMSS and you can manage them, and they provide you high availability of application, those applications who are having mission critical workloads. And there are so many things that how you will be maintaining the high availability. As you know that a few regions in the Azure, they are having zone redundancy. Those are called zone available regions, right? So in most of the times, people they get benefit from those regions by deploying the VMSS. Okay, so that is also it allows you application automatically scale out, and also you can be configuring as machines as you want, and whenever you don't need any machines, you can deprovision them as well. And you can work at large scale, as we already discussed, that you can create up to about 1000 VMs, right? Okay, so let's have demonstration. I am going to unshare this screen and I'm going to share another screen. Just give me some time, please. So I'm just going to open up the Azure portal. Okay, so this is my Azure portal. So let's configure VMSS. It's very simple. You go to the portal.azure.com and in the search bar, just write down here as scale sets, right? So whatever the criteria you are going to use for searching the virtual machines scale set. Okay, I'm going to click on this option. And now you can see that here you can create virtual machine skill sets. So I'm going to create my skill set here. Okay. So first of all, you should be having some active subscription over here, and you should be having some project name like create new project, and I'm going to be having a test SS project, skill set project. Okay, so what is going to be the name of virtual machine skill set? Look here. Normally, when you are going to provision some VM, in that case, the system will ask you for the name of that specific VM. And in this case, a system will ask you to mention the name of the whole virtual machine skill set. It means that this is something which is logically managing all the machines. So you can say that this is something like a container or something, right? So whatever the settings you are going to apply on this container, so the settings will be applied automatically to the associated virtual machines. Okay, so I am going to put any names like it's going to be web SS, web skill set, for example. And I would recommend that you should select some recommended region with high availability options. Sometimes we cannot have the region which is not in the category of recommended regions. But for the demo purposes, as you know that most of the times when we demonstrate something, we use East US region because this region is having all the high availability options and it's better for the learning purpose. So I am selecting the East US region, which is having more high availability options. Okay, so as you guys know that the availability zones are the data centers within a single region. If a region is having the capability of data centers, like 3 data centers in within that region, it means that it is a high available region as far as virtual machines or virtual machines scale sets are concerned, right? So in my case, as I have selected this East US region, so in this case, I can be having the multiple data centers option. If I'm not going to put any zones, specific one, so system will automatically get any of the zones for me. But it would not be like I am getting the capability of all the zones and for configuring or provisioning my virtual machines. Okay, so in my case, I would prefer that I'm going to put my VMs in all 3 available data centers within the East US region, right? So I have selected all 3 zones. You guys may select two zones, maybe one or two, maybe two or three, as per your needs and requirements. And one more thing, that as you can see that Azure provides you the documentation and help based on all the steps. Like for example, if you want to study about more regarding the Azure availability zones, you can click on this option as well, right? Okay, fine. Let's go ahead. So this is the orchestration model. What is the orchestration model? That how, which model you prefer? Do you want to have some flexibility um, do, during the working on the VMs? For example, if you want to apply some updates, or you want to scaling, you want to perform the vertical scaling. So in that case, there is a flexibility that you can manage all the machines individually, right? So in both cases, if you want to apply some updated updates, and if you want to perform some vertical scaling, so in that case, you can have the flexible model. So if you want to apply um, the updation, like if you want to scaling the machines based on their memory CPU power, like it is called vertical scaling, but you want to perform that instantly, selecting all the machines at time, like you can do it for selecting all the machines at once, right? So in the case of flexible model, you have to handle the machines individually, and in the case of uniform model, you can perform operations selecting all machine at one time, right? So these are a difference. And one more thing, that in case of flexible, there are a few workloads that why you are going to be applied a flexible model. In case of databases, or maybe there are some servers machines, they have something regarding the data thing. So in that case, maybe you want them to handle individually. For sometimes you want to apply a few settings on a certain machine, and for another machine you don't want to apply those settings. So in that case, you just go for the flexible model. And most of the time, where the uniform model is that they work, most of the time, if you are going to deploy some web applications to number of VMs, you go for the uniform model, because as you know that in the case of web applications, most of the times people, they access the DNSs, they access the machines to get some response. In that case, so uniform model is easy to handle for the applications. Okay, so now we talk about the security type. What should be the machine's security type? So as you know that there are a few more security types, like trusted launch virtual machines, or VTPMs. We'll talk about these concepts. I hope that we will be having more such sessions in future as well. We'll talk about more such things in detail. But now I'm just going through and keeping in mind the clock as well. So we are having a short time. So in this case, for example, I'm not going into details. I'm just going to have standard type of machine. So to easy to handle, for example. You can have trusted launch virtual machines as well as per your requirements. Okay, so which operating system you want to get deployed on each VM? So in that case, for example, I want to have Windows Server 2022 data center on each VM. You can have Ubuntu according to your needs, whatever the systems you need, the OS. Okay, so let's go and further and see. Don't click on Azure spot discounts. Why? Because these are unreliable VMs. Sometimes cloud platforms, they are having a few VMs in the hands, and they give those VM to the clients for the short time period. So in case of the jobs like data analysis, short term workloads, you can select this option. But I would recommend that if you are working on the exact purpose, like this application is going to last for longer times, so in that case, don't go for the spot instances. We'll also discuss about the spot discounts later in coming sessions as well. Okay, for as far as the size is concerned, for example, for now, I am going to select the D2AS VM size, which is that cost about $70 per month, for example, right? So I'm selecting this. This will apply for all the machines, on all the machines, as we are going for the uniform model. So it means that whatever the machine sizes you are going to apply, you can change in the future instantly for all the machines. You don't need to be worried about anything. Okay. Also, do you want that whenever the workload increases, so in that case system will perform auto scaling for you. It's talking about the horizontal scaling, not about the vertical scaling, because what is the horizontal scaling, that whenever the system, the VMSS feels that now the workload increases, so in that case, whether your system is going to perform some scaling based on auto scaling or manual. For example, for now, we just go for the this whatever the options we are having in hand. So we talk about the manual scaling. Later on, we talk about the auto scaling as well. For now, I'm just going to have two instances, two VMs. You can increase instances, right? So we can do it later on as well. Okay, so what would be the username, the admin username for each of the machines? It may be of any according to your login administrator name. For example, I do it as SS admin and my password is something complex according to the rules of Azure password protection. Okay, so I have given the passwords and now I'm going to the spot. And as you know that we did not select anything regarding the spot instances, so we just go to the disk side. And this is all about the type of disk each VM is going to have. You can change the types accordingly. Do you want to premium SSDs, standards, or if you want to have zone redundant storages, this is all about your OS disk. So as you know that we have selected the high available region, so I can have the availability options for my disks as well, operating system disk as well. So in my case, I'm not going to perform any high availability for OS disk for right now. Just going to the networking side. Okay, so this is a network that will be created to manage the VMSS scale sets. If you are having some VNet already in your hands, you can use them accordingly. And if you don't have any network VNet, so you can, the system will recommend some name for you. So usually it takes the name automatically by observation, as we have mentioned the resource group name. If you want to change the configuration, for example, if you want to change some main IP scheme of your VNet, or you want to mention the IP of your subnets, you can go for the create virtual network option. So if you want to have your own IP scheme, for example, you know that Azure always provides this IP scheme for you. If you want to have your own subnets, your own IP schemes, you can do it accordingly, right? For example, you want to change the name, you want to change the name of your subnet, whatever. I'm just not going to change right now and going just with the default options. Okay, so here you can see that uh, the system is going to create the network interface card for you. This is a kind of primary network interface card. You can create more NICs as well. It will ensure more high availability for you. and attach these NICs to other subnets as well within this network, right? So you can create more NICs. This is NICs 0 something. You can have other NICs. System is telling you the names and other options as well. You can have your own according to your high availability needs and requirements. This can be done later on as well. Okay, but I want to change something in this criteria of NIC. Why? Because as we know that we have to deploy a load balancer as well. And you know that when the cloud platforms are concerned, if you send some traffic to request something from any of the VMs, to request some the web application pages or something. So in that case, the traffic will automatically be blocked by the systems. Okay. And another criteria is if you want to manage that traffic, you should be deploying some network security groups. So network security groups will help you out to manage the traffics, like which ports are going to open. You know that uh, if you open all the ports, 65,000 plus ports are there, always there. If you open up all the, allow all the ports, most of the times inbound traffic, we are most of the times concerned about the inbound traffic, which is coming in the virtual machines. So in that case, we should be having some network security groups in our hand, right? So as this is not an individual machines, this is not going to be an individual machine, it's VMSS. So in that case, this is a NIC to support the VMSS. And this NIC should be having some inbound rules allowed so that we can send the traffic to our virtual machines. Okay, so it is the good time to edit these options. You can do them later on as well, just like we do in the case of virtual machines or in the case of network security groups alone. So if I click on this pencil over here, this is edit options. And as you can see, you can change the primary NIC address as well. And moreover, you can select your subnets accordingly if your VNet having more subnets. Okay, so for example, I just click on advanced option and it says that yes, if you click on advanced option, so system will give you network security group, which will be helping all the VMs within this VMSS. So yes, this is fine, but let me see that which traffic is open in this case. So in this case, I'm just going to create option, and you can see that these are just default traffics over here. So I want to add an inbound rule. If I click on the inbound rules, as you can see that you want to allow something. Your source may be any device over the internet, maybe. And what is the source port? Maybe any of the devices from any application, they are going to access your VMs. Okay. So what is the destination? I'm just going to not mention any specific IP in the destination, for example. And in the case of service, I just put it up like a custom thing. And the destination, as this is just an example, this is going to be the VMs having internet information services role installed. There is some web applications who are running on these VMs. So in that case, I'm just going to mention the port 80. You can go for the default options as well. As you know that in the service thing, you can have any ports like RDP, HTTP, and HTTPS most of the times. Okay, so for my case, I'm just going for the numbers, which is the custom port and port 80, and I want the traffic from TCP requests. Okay, I'm just going to allow, and priority you can change accordingly, and you can have your own names like allow port 80. This is just example, right? Okay. I'm just going to add this port as an allowed port and just clicking on the OK. And now you have changed the NSG settings. Do you need public IP address? Yes, for sure, because our application is on the internet. It's not kind of a static thing. There are a few scenarios that maybe these are number of VMs who are associated with some other VMSS group, and they are just giving some response within the Azure. And in that case, you don't need to have any public IP. But if this is from directly operated from the public networks, you just have to enable this option. And if you feel that in some cases your latency will increase, so in that case you enable the accelerated networking. Otherwise, you can disable it. If you are more concerned about the application response, you can enable this option. Okay, I'm just keeping it as a default and I'm just clicking on OK. Okay, so now system will ask you to have an Azure load balancer. As I did not mention any HTTP, HTTPS traffic, if you mention something specific to just HTTP or HTTPS traffic, you can have application gateway. And if there is just all about the ports, as we mentioned that we have to allow 80 port. So in that case, you need to apply the Azure load balancer so that you can balance your loads automatically. Okay, so do you have any load balancer in your hand? No. Okay, fine. Just create a load balancer. So what should be the name of load balancer? It should be like web ss LB load balancer and keep it as public and open it for the TCP traffic and create the load balancer. That's fine. Okay, now I'll move to the management section. And in the management section, do you want that all your machine will update automatically or manual, or you want to rolling out the changes accordingly? So in that case, you can select any of these options. These can be configured later on as well. For now, I'm going for manual. Why? Not necessarily, but in the case of uniform model, you can manage things easily, instantly, right? So in my case, I just more concerned about the manual update. I want to have a storage account for me just because I want to put some, maybe some logs or some script files in my account so that whenever I want to run some scripting, I can have some basic storage to upload my files so that whenever I want to run those files, I should be having some storage accounts in hands, right? So if I'm just going to enable the custom storage, if you want to have already having some storage account, some basic storage account, you can select. Or if you want to create new for this VMSS, so you can create that storage account for now. Okay, I'm just want to create new one. As you can see that system is going to give some default names for you based on your project. I'm just putting my name, a little changes, and just keep all the same. Don't need to change anything. Okay, because this is just a basic account. It's not about having so many, uh, I would say, complexities or something. Okay, and keep all other things as it is. If you want to enable auto operating system updates, so if I click on this option, system will also check the health very quickly. And most of the times you will see that a few system will show you the option unhealthy. Why? Maybe they are in the process of not getting the update something. So if you click this option in the health section, you will be seeing that it will ask you to enable the health as well, right? So for now, I'm not just going to click this option. You can click the option, and you for the testing purpose later on, you can observe your virtual machine's behavior, right? So sometimes they show you the unhealthy status. It does not mean that they are always be like that. Maybe after a few minutes you will see them healthy one, right? So in that case, you will be getting the all OS updates automatically. Okay, I'm just going to click next. Not going to select this because previously I did not clicked on the health OS options. Next is advanced, and here this is very interesting feature. Do you want that your VMs within a single data center? You know that there are so many fault domains as well. So within a data center, if you need to synchronize your VMs over the multiple fault domains, whether they are one domain or whether they are two or three or whatever, up to maximum extent, based on the option within a data center. So in that case, you click on the max spreading. And if in the case of fixed, it will always be in the file. And the system will say that don't put it for the availability zones. It is not recommendation. Okay, I'm just going for the max spreading. Okay. And every rest of the things are good to go. And just going for the tags options. I'm just going to put as infra web one. It's just an example, right? Next. Okay, system is checking the all the settings, prerequisites, and everything. And if the validation is passed, you can create the VMSS. This is a huge topic. I'm just tried my level best to uh, shrink it up in just the time duration of 1 hour. Most of the times when we teach these topics to our learners, sometimes it takes like 2 hours as well, right? So you just have to practice it. The better you practice, the better knowledge you will be getting throughout this the whatever the topics you are working on. Okay, the system is deploying VMs for us. So um, I'm just sending you guys a few links that has complete links to Microsoft Learn platforms regarding the VMSS. Also, I'm going to send you the link to join the MCT Community Pakistan Learning Room. I would appreciate if you guys will join our learning room because you will be getting the expert knowledge, the latest updates about the certification, changes in certification program, so many other things. Also, I'm going to send the links to my LinkedIn platform as well. So meanwhile, I'm just going to send through the chat. Okay, I sent all the links in the chat. Okay, so as you can see that uh, our VMSS is ready, and I click on go to resource. And here you can see the name of our VMSS, and it's more like a single VM. Most of the times you will be getting the options like single VM, and sometimes you're not getting all the options like a VM. Also, you can see on the preview that you are having two machines, and the type or size of machines are this one, right? And also, if I go to the settings tab, and if you see the instances over here, you will be finding two instances. As you can see that there is a computer name over here. What is a computer name? Its system will mention automatically according to the sense they are getting from the system. So most of the times there are built-in machine learning features as well in the VMSS. Okay, so I'm just giving some time to my VMSS and I'm just going to apply. This is just an example. I'm just going to apply some settings to my VMs instantly, right? So in that case, I want to install some extensions or some features. So I'm just going to the setting tab, and if I scroll down a little bit, you can see that there is extensions and applications over here. So I am having a ready to use code file for installing the IIS. So I'll be also sending through the chat over here as well. You will get the file, no problem. Okay, so I go to the extensions and applications, and I am going to add the extension. So for demo purpose, I'm just doing it very quickly, but I would recommend that right after um, configuring the VMSS, you just give them some time, for example, 1 or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, then you go for the settings. Because most of the time system is in the preparation mode, and if you do things more earlier, so you may get some errors, but it is like kind of temporary things, like later on everything is resolved. Okay, I'm just going to, there are so many extension you can have from the marketplace as well. I'm just going to install my extensions. So if I'm going to install my extension, I should be having some PowerShell scripts or something like that. Just going for the custom extensions. Sorry, custom script extensions. Okay, so this is built-in feature by Microsoft. This will provide you all the capabilities to upload your scripts and installing them on the VMs individually and VMSS as well. I'm clicking on this option, just going to the next and browsing. Just this is the same storage account we have configured. I'm just clicking on the storage account, creating a container, and my having the container name like scripts to upload all my scripts. Okay, so this is the container. I'm going to upload the file, script file, browse my files, and there is a script which is to install IS rule, upload. I'm just selecting this script and going to create. Okay, it says initializing the deployment. So all your deployments are going to initialize, and VMSS will install the same rule to all the VMs instantly. And it says that your deployment is complete. That's fine. If I click on go to resource and sorry, this is the resource regarding the extension. I'm just going for the virtual machines skill sets. And this is your skill set, and you just have added some extensions over here in the form in the section extensions and application, this one. Okay, so if I go back to instances, okay, fine. So you want to apply this extension to all the VMs, or maybe you select them and whatever the VMs you want to update, you just select those one. And this is the difference between the uniform and the other option, flexible model. If you are getting the flexible model, in that case, you will not get this option, right? So I'm just having a uniform model, so I can select machines and upgrade them all instantly. Both are different models and they have their own benefits. We'll be talking about later in in future sessions as well. Okay, so I'm selecting both of my VMs and I'm going for the upgrade option. Okay, yes. So system is upgrading all the settings I have done so far. Sometimes if you select the auto option, so system will do that automatically as well. So as you know that we added a load balancer, whatever you install on these machines, so that will be reflected by upgrading them instantly, all of them simultaneously. So you will be checking their response as well. Okay, the system is performing some upgrade. It will be surely having some time, taking some time. It's very normal. If it is taking some time, that's fine. Okay, so very quickly, I am just opening up the other window in the same browser because I'm just not going to disturb this screen. So in that case, I'm just going for another browser and I'm going to my virtual machine skill sets. I'm opening up the skill sets and very quickly we are going to have a look at how can we perform the horizontal scaling, also the vertical scaling as well. Right. So horizontal scaling is like that you are increasing or decreasing the instance counts. If you say that it is going to be scale out, it means that you are increasing your instances, number of instances. And if it is going to be scale in, it means that if you feel that the workload is not that much, so you decrease just to save your cost, save your money, right? So if I want to perform the vertical scaling, for example, I have these instances and they have the standard D to AS uh, machine type. So I want to change the type. In that case, if I want to change the type, it is a kind of vertical scaling. And for the purpose, what I have to do is, as I am in VMSS, and if I go for the resizing option here in the settings section. In the settings section, there is a subsection as size, right? If I click on the size thing, you will see that system will first of all show you the current size, which is standard D to ASV4, right? You can change the sizes according to your needs and requirements. If your needs are changed, maybe you are downscaling, maybe you are upscaling as well, right? Okay, so in other window, we were performing the upgrade and it gets successfully done. So I want to send some request to one of these VMs to answer me, to respond me, right? So we installed IS role in all of these VMs simultaneously. So it means that these are ready to respond me. So if I go to very quickly to load balancer, because we are having question and answer section. So the load balancers front end IP will be giving me the response. So if I click on front end IP of load balancer, so if you copy this IP address and if you type in your browser, so one of the VMs will respond you accordingly. So this is the name of the VM is going to reflecting in the web browser. Also, we were talking about the horizontal scaling. If I click on any of the VM types, selecting the VM types and resize, you will see that it will be applied to all the instances. You can check the instances individually. Also, there is another option for the vertical scaling, sorry, horizontal scaling. If you on the left side, if you can see that there is another option by the name scaling. You can select them accordingly and you can perform the scaling as well. If I click on the scaling, so also system will tell you that how many instance you want to increase. If I go for 10 instances and if I click on save, system will give me the manual scale as 10. So there are a few custom auto scaling options as well based on what the performance metrics you want to implement. Like if you want to scale based on metric, which is a kind of maybe some specific instance count or something, or based on some specific metric like you want to add some rules, how many CPU utilization has been done. If your CPU gets up to 90% of utilization, so in that case, if you add these metric and your auto scaling count goes to what should be the minimum, what should be the maximum. Sorry, I'm just closing this up. Okay, so you can give the minimum range like 1, the maximum should be like 20, and the default like as normal should be 10. So it will be performed automatically by the system. If you can save the option, you will see that based on your metrics, system will automatically scale out or scale in your VMs. Okay, I think I have taken the time too much. I'm just having 5 minutes to go for the question answers. Okay, guys, you can ask the questions. Surag, can you listen me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I would appreciate if audience they ask questions, they participate in the question and answer chat box.
Let's give them a minute since everybody needs to type up the question. Let's give them a
Sure,
minute so that they can type it. So, yeah.
sure, sure, sure. I really appreciate Surag, and I was really very much passionate about having this session with Surag. And the more excitement factor behind was it was specifically for APAC region. We want to promote our APAC region because what I feel that we have to go more and internationally we should be representing the better opportunities, getting more opportunities for the learners from the APAC region. And as we are community, and it's not like that this 1 hour session is enough for us. It's just time constraints we have to follow. But if you guys need more help, so you can reach out us on LinkedIn, as you know me and Surag as well. So you are more than welcome.
Yeah, I guess there is no question that's yet posted. Uh, if you guys have any questions, let's discuss it quickly because we are running out of time. So,
I think it was very easy to understand, maybe.
yeah, so about the e-certificate, I have already shared the form. You should fill it out and you can receive the certificate of participation for session. Okay, there's a question.
Okay, so this covers the Microsoft 365 endpoint management. It's basically through the Intune. So yeah, we'll try our level best to have more discussions like other technologies as well, because Microsoft is a kind of very diverse platform, so many products. So yeah, we noted down this question and we'll be having more series of session like that in future, that how we can restrict the Mac and other um, devices to go through the um, systems or something like that, to manage them effectively.
Okay, I guess there is no other question so far. In that case, we will be winding up the today's session. Appreciate you guys have joined us, and thank you, Gulnas, for joining us today and sharing your knowledge with us. It was a really great session, and we went over a lot of topics and some of the demo, which is really helpful for them to understand what's being taught theoretically. So I hope everybody here was able to understand what Kulnas was sharing, and if there is any more question that comes up in your mind after the session, which you might come up with when since if you're trying out, so please make sure you join our community or reach out to Gulnas if you need any help after today's session. So I have already shared the link for certificate, and I have already shared the YouTube link and our community link. And if you want to be participating in the upcoming session, please to join the community and also try out Gulna's Microsoft Learn rooms, and they will be sharing a lot more insight over there. And again, thank you all for joining, and have a great rest of the Saturday. And see you in the upcoming sessions.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye. Have a good day.